Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio July 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, well, as far as July goes, Venus will be in Leo from the 18th until the 31st, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. This could manifest a lot of extravagant spending, perhaps on one's public image or maybe notoriety, recognition. It could be career-related matters. It could also be about valuing courage, fortitude, self-assuredness, extroversion in matters in one's career. Maybe it could play a role in terms of attaining a higher position, stature in life. It could also be about, at this time, you might find yourself exhibiting, if you're unattached at this time, you might connect with a Leo Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Leo characteristics that might figure prominently in terms of your career, your public image, gaining notoriety, recognition, exposure. Could also be about expressing a lot of demonstrative sentiments with somebody that you may know that may be 10th house related at this time as well. And it could be doing something, making money through some kind of entertainment capacity, which could be tied in to notoriety and recognition at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Mars will be in Leo, so again, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, in some cases, this could be about arguments over pride and ego. It might be tied into your reputation, your public image, if there was anything slanderous going on. This could also be about a lot of loud, boisterous, perhaps arguments too with 10th house people. It could be the dominant parent, which is often the father, an authority figure, people prominent in your career. It could also be about injecting a lot of energy and vitality into a Leo type career. It could be something, for example, cardiology, entertainment, acting, being an actress, game production, designing, something with the circus, golf, or just sports in general. It could also be a time too, if you're unattached, you might have a sexual liaison or interlude with a Leo Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Leo traits. Again, could be someone prominent in a career. It could even be an authority figure, somebody that might help you attain a greater stature in life and help you gain recognition and exposure. Sometimes this could manifest in accidents in terms of showing off, maybe for a dominant parent, which is often a father, or anybody that could be 10th house related at this time, maybe someone you know in business. So just be very careful at this time. And also too, Mars and Leo energy, I think, can be strongly connected with dehydration, and this is going to be taking place during the summer. So this could be a time, because you got to remember Mars, and you're talking about a fiery planet, and Leo, of course, is very fiery, of course, as well. And it could be a time where, spending a lot of that near inexorable Leo energy doing 10th house matters. Be very careful in terms of being hydrated at this time, Scorpio. So you could be expending a lot of energy, and of course that leads to greater perspiration. It requires more water, about replenishing the body with more fluids. So anyway, next thing up. Well, Jupiter will be in Sagittarius still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, as I've talked about previously, Jupiter can be rather paradoxical. It can be strongly benign and benevolent, but could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. And in some cases, this might expand and enlarge rather foolhardy, self-righteous, over-optimistic, over-exuberant, even reckless behavior in terms of resources, your possessions, monetary matters in general. It could be about really doing something at this time are really about putting a lot of, you might be putting a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm in second house matters in doing so. And really, it could also be about, I mean, you're talking about the second house is about our self-worth, self-esteem, and it might really be playing really a role or just being just very positive in general can really be doing something that might be tied into that showing exuberance, maybe in sports, outdoor related matters, and being happy in the process might be tied into one's self-worth and self-esteem. It could also be about, at this time, this could be auspicious for Sagittarius related monetary endeavors such as something with sports, religion, philosophy, advertising, publishing, and also could manifest a lot of hope and optimism by incorporating perhaps religion, philosophy, sports, the outdoors into things that you value at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up, well, Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. You might find yourself dealing with certain restrictions and limitations and short journeys. It could be in your communications in general, dealing with siblings, cousins, neighbors. You might find yourself at this time taking care of a sickly or debilitated cousin, sibling, or neighbor seen prominent in your short journeys. It could be something Capricorn related, such as with something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings, maybe making you feel somewhat despondent or melancholy. It could also be about time where you might show a lot of serious responsibility to your communications, maybe even to things that you might have learned in your early education or people that were prominent in your early education. Now, this could also be about dealing with maybe some consistent mechanical issues that might impact your local transportation and your short journeys at this time. So, and also to older people might be prominent. It could even be the father or grandfather, grandmother might figure more prominently in your day-to-day communications and your matters with your short journeys and maybe in activities, perhaps with neighbors at this time as well, and also assimilating information. So, anyway. Next thing up, Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, one way this may manifest, this could be about Taurus friendships, it could be about Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus characteristics that might figure more prominently, perhaps in some cases legal situations, maybe helping you deal with open adversaries, negotiations, maybe even competition. This could also be about dealing with Uranus type open adversaries. They could be people in astronomy, astrology, aerospace, electronics, computers, innovators. You also might be dealing with more unusual, stubborn, and obstinate behavior, perhaps from a marriage partner, a significant other, your important connections, maybe a grandmother even in some cases. And also, too, this could be a time where you might marry perhaps a Taurus foreigner, and it may be a Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Taurus traits. It could also manifest perhaps in making negotiations over the internet. Question could be, someone may ask, well, could this manifest in an internet marriage? Well, the thing about it is you may have to look this up, because I don't even know if internet marriages could actually be done on the internet, if they're actually authentic or not. So that would be something you may want to look into. I'm not really sure about that, but the thing about this too is it could also be about dealing with some kind of Uranus competitions. It could just be doing something on the internet or on the computer with somebody, or maybe coming up with a better idea or new concept or innovation, or doing something connected with electronics. So, or just some kind of unusual form of competition one way or the other. So anyway. Well, next thing up, Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. But you may be experiencing, in some cases, some deception and duplicity with children, with lovers. Hold on a moment, people. Guard against deception, duplicity, matters with speculation and investments. And it could also be about self-deception and deluding yourself in speculative matters and thinking that you may actually get more out of it than you really will. And it could also be about dealing with fraudulent things of a speculative nature. If somebody's trying to convince you to invest in such and such thing, just make sure it even exists and go online and do what you have to do as far as this goes, because Neptune could be very gullible energy. There might be some dissipation dissolving your personal popularity at this time, but also could manifest a lot of self-sacrifice in fifth house matters. It might even be your own fun, amusement, your enjoyment, perhaps in matters with your children, with lovers. These people may be somewhat nebulous and unclear at this time. Remember too that Neptune energy can be rather lethargic, and it could be something where, I mean, you might feel more like fantasizing and daydreaming regarding fifth house matters and actually doing things in connection with them, especially if transit Neptune is making an adverse aspect to your natal Mars, your Sun, or your Ascendant. On one positive note, though, this could manifest in some kind of Neptune enjoyment, such as something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, chemistry, photography, fantasy games, maybe even doing something connected with hypothetical sports matchups, such as going to whatifsports.com and playing teams from the past against each other from different years, different seasons. So anyway, last but not least, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, in some cases, and a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. This could be about the literal death or passing of a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor, somebody you might have known through your early education, someone prominent, your short journeys, your day-to-day communications. Could also be about at this time perhaps a transformation in the way you communicate in some cases. Guard against perhaps manipulative thinking at this time and behavior in general. It could also be about dealing with some compulsive and obsessive issues. And a lot of this could be, of course, predicated and dependent on aspects as next to points in your chart. If it's making, say, an adverse aspect to your natal Mercury, this might really increase that propensity perhaps for that. Or if you have indicators in your natal chart for that, such as Pluto making an adverse aspect to your natal Mercury, or even your third house cusp or even ruler of the third house perhaps. So anyway, could also be about trying to secretly and covertly getting dirt on someone. I don't mean literal dirt, but information you might use against them for whatever reason. And also too, it could be about maybe talking about Pluto related things at this time, such as insurance, the occult, supernatural, astrology, horror, things connected with transformation and rebirth. So anything that could be Pluto related at this time. And also you might find yourself divulging maybe some secrets about yourself, more so than usual, because this could be about communications regarding things that maybe you figuratively buried or were secretive about previously. So also you might find yourself trying to gain power over rational thinking. In some cases it might actually destroy or obliterate rational thinking depending on aspects as makes to points in your chart. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio July 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time. I'll be giving you my Sagittarius July 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel me. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.